Well, thank you so much for that nice introduction. Good morning, everyone. So nice to see you. I want to thank Allerton House for hosting as well. So I'm very excited for everyone to see one of our beautiful senior living communities. And I'm even more excited to finally get to meet Cynthia in person. So this is the first time we've actually met in person. So I'm very excited. And let's kick it off. Let's get to know your story and your journey and a little bit about Cynthia. Cynthia Sierra brings a wealth of experience in healthcare, mental health, neuropsychology, and social service administrations to her role as the Chief Executive Officer at Manet Community Health Center. She assured this position in January 2016 after serving as acting CEO since July of 2015. So Cynthia, tell us about your present role and your leadership journey.
Happy to do that, yes. Thank you, Leanne.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we're going to do a terrific job today on this. I first wanted to acknowledge some really important women in the room because I think that is so important and incumbent upon us as women and as women leaders. So first and foremost, my colleagues that asked that I do this today, Sandra McGonigal and Michelle Duggan. So thank you for what you do every day and encouraging me to be here. My former colleague and dear friend, Janice Sullivan, with Aspire. Yeah, so thank you, Janice. Renee, past president of the Chamber, my colleague, if you will, in women's leadership with Noel VNA, who really pushed me over the line to get more engaged with the Chamber. So grateful to you, Renee. So thank you. So leadership and sort of my journey here,
if you will. Your present role.
So many years ago, I think the decisions that I made then sort of helped influence my career choices today. And I would say that started with way back, if you will, with the decision around where I would do my undergraduate work. I went to a small, insular, all-girls private high school, and I knew then that I wanted to see and I wanted to learn more, and I wanted to engage with special and different populations. So I went to a public university, and I think it helped for me catch that early bug that my family had promoted in service to others, and that both personally and professionally, truly what it's about is being in the service to others. And then I went from there, and I had the opportunity to really go into services as an undergrad, and whether it was acute care shelters, sexual assault services for women, and went to graduate school for clinical psychology, and a pretty intensive multi-year program. And so the early part of my career was very much focused on working with traumatized and marginalized patients, but as a clinician, as a licensed clinician. And I also had the privilege of doing neuropsychology work too, under the mentorship of some amazing neuropsychologists. And along the way, I was exposed, and so grateful to it, to the mission of federally qualified community health centers that now across the United States are the largest system of primary care. And that's really where it started. And it just really felt there was an opportunity to blend sort of executive administrative interests with a clinical background.
So it seems like your background prepared you for this current role. What does the word leadership or the title leader mean to you?
So I think back to service. I think leadership is serving others, and I think my team and my colleagues would agree that I think my approach to leadership is that I walk through the doors every day and we turn the lights on, And I truly am in service to the staff and the patients. I really feel like leadership, I work for them. And I happen to bring, which I think came from my family, a love of work and a love of mission-driven work. And so I think foremost, it's a leader is giving of themselves, and also developing and lifting up other people.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Do you believe you view leadership differently than your male counterparts?
So, and we'll probably have the opportunity to talk about mentors. And I've really had that pleasure and privilege of being exposed to wonderful mentors in my life that have both been male and female. And I do think that some of the philosophies that I have about leadership and developing others and lifting others up and not needing to have all the answers, in fact, sort of sitting back sometimes when you might have the answer to allow others around you to grow in confidence because they have that answer too, or they might have a better answer. I've been really privileged, whether it's been, a chief of neuropsychology, a psychologist, or a male CEO predecessor, that I've really been exposed to wonderful male and female leaders, if you will, or bosses that I think have demonstrated and felt akin to that. I think as a female, though, I don't think there's a day that I'm not in touch with the fact that we as women remain underrepresented in leadership roles. When you look at it's Women's History Month. It's March, so thank you, Leanne, and thank you, Heather, in the Chamber for hosting this and in Women's History Month. It honestly, it doesn't escape me for a day. Weekends either that, across the country, women are still our lowest paid workers and have less opportunities in career ladders and have those chances to grow and develop. And I would like to think that men understand that as well, but I'm not an expert on that. I can't say for sure.
What are your 3 greatest responsibilities as a leader? I think it's truly extending gratitude to the folks that so we're delivering primary care, we're delivering behavioral health services, and for us, we turn no patient away. It's extending and trying to be an example of that. And we met one of our patients this morning, actually, here. It's thanking those that choose you for choosing you. And it's also extending deep appreciation for the folks that choose to work with you and your organization and the mission. I think also as a leader, it's an understanding that not every day is going to be sunny. And not every day is going to feel like the best day. And there's a resiliency and a tenacity and a strength that comes when teams and organizations also go through challenging times. And so I think to understand that. And I think for leaders, it's also, and those in the room that have known me a long time, I hope know this, but it's doing the work. It really truly is doing the work. I had an example yesterday that so we were touring some of our sites. We've welcomed a magnificent new CFO to the organization, and so my time is his time, and I'm truly in service to him as I welcome him into our organization.
And we were at one of our newly opened sites at Father Bill's Mainspring in Quincy at the Yawkey Housing Resource Center, and our dear colleagues at Father Bill's. And we've opened a health clinic there. And there were some, file cabinets from, one of our office vendors that arrived at the wrong clinic location. And so the staff had, just were questioning that, and how could we have them removed or get them out of the way? And it was just sort of just an instinctual decision. I'm here, have car, have strong arms. I'll take them for you. And so, our fabulous new CFO followed suit. And I took one and he took the other, and it was, partnership, and we're in service to the staff. And so I think that's what I mean by doing. That's what I mean by doing. And that's my definition of being a leader.
Right.
I guess it's a horizontal approach, Leanne.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can you discuss the role of mentors in your life?
Yes, absolutely. I think part of being a mentor too, which is kind of going back to, some of those basics of leadership responsibility too, is for me, there has to be an encouragement that you're reminding folks that whether you're their mentor, you're their leader, that they take care of themselves above all else, right? And so for me, I grew up in a family of athletes, and the lesson wasn't as much about the competition as much as it was about prioritizing how you take care of yourself, right? So because, hard work and leadership reminds you how important it is to take care of yourself. Good mentors do that too, right? And I think to create a culture with a mentor's support or a mentor's instruction that, family should come first. And to drive the best performance for all of us, regardless of our gender, family, friends, personal time really needs to come first. I think mentors have also helped remind me that, because I do need this, my team knows I move very fast. It doesn't have to all get done in a day. It doesn't have to all get done in a day. You're not always going to have good days, and don't fold. It's how you rise up. But it's also tell people how you feel, and don't be afraid to use feelings in the workplace. Right? Tell people how you feel, and find work that continues to be meaningful to you, and shine the light on others. I've been really, really fortunate to have amazing mentors, whether they've been, like some of my colleagues here today, members of a nonprofit board of directors, whether they've been, my past bosses that have become friends, whether it's been a clinical supervisor at the first rape crisis center that I worked at, or a headache center for excellence. And I think it feels like a responsibility to pass that forward. That's what it's about.
Very, very, very lucky to have you as well as a leader.
Thank you.
What has been some of the best advice you have been given?
I think, for me, I think about my mom, and I understand that not everyone has had the same relationship that I've been really blessed to have with my mom, and who's like, I guess, the original mentor. It's trust yourself. Trust yourself, and trust is everything. Yeah. So that's probably.
I like that.
Yeah.
Describe a career crossroad and how you navigate this.
It was actually pretty recent. So many of us in the room all of us as people, that the trauma that was COVID. But I think particularly for those of us that are in healthcare services, whether it's behavioral health, it's home care, it's primary care, it's inpatient, it's acute, it's emergency services, such a time. And so proud of the health center. I mean, so proud of the health center. And I remember at the time, in one of the opportunities that I have as a CEO in partnership with a magnificent team and a board of directors is, if you will, give in turbulent crisis situations. They could be weather situations, pandemics like COVID, give, if you will, emergency temporary privileges. And we were coming out the other end of COVID, and what we were realizing, all of the unmet, my colleague Janice is here, her colleague Miriam, all the unmet behavioral health needs kind of rising to the surface, and then, just like cultures and zip codes and all of us coming out of COVID, a really difficult time. And I was really at a crossroads, and I'm saying this out loud for the first time, Leanne. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Should I be kind of pausing, working on getting my credential back, and actually jumping back into the pool to also do clinical work? Mm-hmm. Because the need felt so profound and so great. And that was just a few years ago. Right. And, with an awful lot of, like a bubble of love around this, found my way through that my way to give of self and to be in service in the end was really to stay as a full-time chief executive, rather than, sort of a part-time chief executive and then a part-time clinician for the health center. Mm-hmm. So I did resolve that, and I hope the health center is better for the decisions that I made, right? And then we've been able to, since then, with the direction of a wonderful behavioral health director, then restore, if you will, and hire more clinical social workers to do that work.
Excellent.
So I would say that was probably, and there's been others, but I think that's probably the most acute and most recent. Right. And I don't have any regrets, Leanne. Right. I think I made the right decision for the health center.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a tough time for a lot of
Absolutely.
everywhere.
Yes. Yeah. So what's my purpose? Where can I add most value?
I agree. With all of us in the healthcare, it's all hands on deck.
You bet it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The days
it is.
my kids would be like, "Why aren't you coming home?" And I said, "I have to stay over. The patients are our first and foremost priority." Well, you're not a nurse, but I know how to make beds, and I know how to serve trays, and I can hold your hand.
You understand. Absolutely. Yes.
So thank you so much. You're absolutely magnificent. Your journey is just absolutely amazing. So I have some fun questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to sit
Bring
back.
them on.
What is the last movie you saw on the big screen?
So I don't watch TV, I don't sit down, and I don't watch movies a lot. It might be surprising, but
really?
I probably sit on my couch like an hour a week. Yeah, but I did see a movie. I went to see the newest adaptation of The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
so that was maybe a year and a half ago, and it probably was like 8 years before I saw another movie in the cinema. Honestly, yeah.
Little Mermaid. I love The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah. I like it like live at Disney.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
The music was swell. Yes.
Her voice.
The vocals were wonderful. Yes. I got
the
popcorn.
Bubbles.
Yeah. It was fun.
Where is the last place you traveled? Please tell me you travel.
I do travel, and I have a wonderful trip planned in the spring. So this is actually one of my favorite cities, and I happen to be there 3 times in 6 weeks, and that's Washington, D.C. My husband and I went to see the Celtics a few weekends ago. We were in and out. It was a great game.
Did they win?
Think it was on, and it was on St. Patrick's Day, and there was a lot of green. I mean, a lot, like Celtics green and green. It was a terrific game, yes. And then I was also there for our national conference, and then I was asked to go with my dear friends and colleagues with the city of Quincy. So, yeah, in a 6-week window or a 5-week window of time, I did. I took the shuttle to D.C. Yeah, one of them was a 1-day. It was, so yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. This might be hard to answer. What do you do to relax?
So I swim a mile or 2 to relax. Honestly, I love to swim.
Where do you do that?
So the South Shore YMCA has also Peter members, right? They have a Hanover branch and they have a Quincy branch, and so I will sort of interchange. And so I mentioned kind of growing up in a family of athletes, and so triathletes, marathoners, distance runners, all of that. And so I just caught this fever for swimming, trying to emulate my parents that were trying, and I just really haven't gotten out of the pool since. That's probably why I went to Little Mermaid. So I do, and that's really relaxing. The watch has to come off, the iWatch, the cell phone. I mean, it's true immersion. And the type of breathing, it mirrors sort of, diaphragmatic yoga breathing, and it's everything. It's like,
wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a wonderful sport. Okay.
Let's see. What would you like to learn to do?
French cook. French cook, yes. I do love to cook, and I love to eat French food, but I haven't mastered or put aside time to learn how to cook it.
Right.
But I'd love to learn how to do that. Yeah, love to.
I find it difficult sometimes just to do the whole shopping and then the cook, then the preparing and then the cooking and then the cleaning. So
it takes multiple hours to do a good meal, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes.
And now I have one in college, and my other one's my roommate, and all of a sudden the doorbell rings and he has DoorDash.
We could learn something there.
I'd love to learn how to cook, because that is one thing. And I grew up in the Italian family. My mother made everything out of nothing. There was never anything in the fridge, but we had a gourmet meal. But she would never let me in the kitchen. It was her kitchen. It was a big disservice, so now I don't. Yeah. So let's see. What are you looking forward to, personal-wise and professional-wise?
So personally, I am really honored that my wonderful, beautiful niece, Anna, has asked me to be her confirmation sponsor in May.
So, that's beautiful. Yeah, that means a lot.
She's wonderful. Yeah, nice. She's an amazing.
Do you have a name? A confirmation.
So Elizabeth. Yeah. So she's just the greatest. I'm really honored because she has lots of choices.
Nice.
So yeah.
And how about professionally?
Well, I have to say we have a wonderful event coming up on June 6th, and it's called June Bloom. And it's our 45th anniversary. It's our signature fundraiser. We're going to be at Stonehill College. It's Thursday evening, 6 o'clock. Michelle Duggan, my colleague, Sandra McGonigal, my colleague, for more information. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. We're going to Stonehill for the first time. The board is giving 2 important awards, and I'm privileged to be a part of that. To the Taunton Public Schools. We're in Taunton as well. We opened up a health center inside of a middle school, which is contiguously attached to a high school.
Nice.
So we have a nurse practitioner there today, and behavioral health services. So And so that Taunton School Committee has been exceptional, and that leadership team there. So we'll be honoring them, and then we'll be honoring the City of Quincy and their planning department for their investments over 45 years in Manet, including we opened up a beautiful new mammography and X-ray suite in North Quincy to help, if you will, close that gap and open up, more appointments for mammography and X-ray for patients in the community. So June Bloom, yes, very much looking forward to June Bloom. June will bloom for us on June 6th.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd love to see you there. I would love to see you there.
I am a Stonehill alumni.
No,
yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. So it looks much different from when I was there. There was no Starbucks. There was no, even the school store was like in the basement. So it's a beautiful, beautiful campus. So June 6th is on my calendar.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
So I do have one last question to wrap it up. If you were not a health center CEO, you would be a...
So I have two choices, and I probably have given them away, like you probably could figure it out. One would probably be a full-time clinical psychologist, and the other would be a girls' swim coach.
I was going to say...
Yeah, I have chills when I say that. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So,
nice.
Yeah. That being said, I'm grateful every day for the opportunity that I have to do the job that I do. Truly, truly grateful. But if it weren't for the exposure and the visibility, and if I wasn't on this path, I'd love to do either of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. This has really brought so much, our togetherness and to meet each other. And I'm just so glad I had the opportunity, and the chamber did ask me.
They made a great
it's
choice.
Been wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone else, for coming. We're going to open it up to questions for Cynthia. Don't be shy.
It resonated with me when you talked about doing the work and service. And I think my whole life, I grew up working at McDonald's and being a server all through undergrad. And it wasn't until a leadership doctorate that I was told there's this whole body of evidence called servant leadership.
Yes. Yes, there is.
And it's wonderful. But has there ever been an example in your life where I think being a woman and a servant leader, it's undermined either your credibility or your position?
I appreciate your question.
That's a hard one.
Well, because I don't always think that being a women's leader with that philosophy of servant leadership is always easy. But sometimes the right thing isn't easy. So I think that's my answer to it. That, yes. The right thing's still the right thing, though. But it's not easy.
And I'll finish with French cooking. Even I'm a meme, and my 3 grandsons will tell you that the first 3 ingredients in French cooking is butter, butter.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent.
We're on a roll.
More butter the better. Yes. Thank you.
You have to swim more.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. Twice a day, Renee. Yes. Janice.
Cynthia, Manet was so critical during the whole pandemic in getting testing and vaccinations out. That must have been just tremendous pressure. I know in the healthcare world we're all dealing with staffing shortages. Can you talk a little bit about how you were able to help your staff get through that time and where they are now in terms of, the recovery is taking longer than we all thought, but where they are now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you, Janice. I would say off the top, Janice, I hope my team members are here. They felt this. For me, it felt important. and it was my personal choice. But when others that may have made different decisions to not be in the office 5 or 6 days a week, Janice, I knew I had to come to the office. And so I came to the office 5 or 6 days a week. And when we were, confronting those fears, Janice, how could I ask our staff and our volunteers that came forward to be on the front line, even when the vaccinations were rolling out, without being on the front line myself? So I hope that helped. Whether I was, lifting, lugging, serving food, checking folks in, I wasn't alone. And so I think it was being present. It was being present. And it was making sure, like early in the morning and late at night when no one was present but me, that I was taking care of myself. Because if I wasn't taking care of myself, I couldn't take care of others, right? So when I had the tools in the toolkit and the resources to make sure that I did that. And I think that our staff are stronger and, if you will, like grander and larger for the experience and more unified than they've been. Community Health Center employees, as Janice knows well, truly social justice minded, really do this at the core to give back and for who they are. So, and I think the acknowledgement and the appreciation, it's daily. It's not like a special occasion. We try to weave that through daily. And then you have to understand where the supports need to be for the employees that need a little bit more, right? A little bit more tender love and care. Yeah. So I think modeling by being in it. Yeah, I never wanted to not just be with them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for the question.
What advice would you give those of us women leaders that want to get that next step, that seated senior leadership or seated CEO position, that also, we have all the, motherhood and all other, competing things that are going on. What kind of advice would you give that woman leader that's trying to get, what do you look for or advice that you look for?
I think in your personal life, a good group of girlfriends is always going to be really important. Never take them for granted. Even if it's a quick call on the way to or home from work, always, keep that part of yourself. I think it's expressing to women leaders around you, or, and I'm not a very hierarchical person, but above you, your interests. It's identifying who could be mentors. And I think in the end, it's about being in the right space that allows you to be all that you want to be, but also values that there is more to life than career and work, right? So, I don't know if that's helpful. Yeah, articulate, share, engage. Yeah, your desire. Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
I think one thing Cynthia and I have talked a lot about is, and you can speak a little to this, but also, she's so busy, I'm a doer, and carving out time, it's important to carve out time to think and plan.
Yes, it is.
And, execute, but you have to have time to separate so that you can think clearly about the next thing, the next strategy, the next initiative. That's a challenge.
Absolutely it is.
But it's something that I think is important for your energy.
Absolutely. Yes. Quiet time. Agreed. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
more than welcome to use our photo prop. And if anyone is interested in taking a tour of one of our model apartments, we'll be able to do that. Feel free to mix and mingle and network some more. Still have some coffee, take a road snack, whatever you'd like. So thank you everyone for coming in.
Thank you. One more thing. So I just want to thank our sponsors again: Comsys, Iley Inc., Cardinal Cushing Centers, Enbridge, Friendship Home, George Washington Toma TV and Appliance, Leon Marketing Solutions, PR First, Tiny and Sons and Autoblast. Our entire docket for the year is up on the website now. We have 6 more events that are really exciting and dynamic, and I'm excited about it. Our next one is April 9th, Tuesday, April 9th. It'll be at the Social Chamber in Rockland with Nancy Curry from Addington Bank.